How's everybody doing? Obviously, solid weekend down in Florida. Just with everything. I think first off, just what an incredible job by Jake Kirkendall, Ryan McManus, and our operations staff in quickly putting together a trip at a location we had not planned on. To be able to coordinate everything and allow things to go smoothly. And Allegiant did a great job with our flight and keeping everybody safe. And what turned out to be a great day for the Pirates. A big road win, conference opponent, a very talented conference opponent, and a very explosive first half for our offense. So it was great to see that all come together. But just really pleased with the performance on the day. Good to get that first conference win, first road win. But not much time to celebrate that with what we have coming up this Saturday night. And, you look at the schedules in the off season, and I knew this was going to be a tough game going to New Orleans. I felt pretty strongly that Coach Fritz would have a pretty good bounce back year this year, and obviously he's off to an extremely strong start. I know he is kicking himself because he probably thinks he should be 5-0, and I would probably agree with him. I mean, they did some uncharacteristic things in the Southern Miss game, but a very, very strong football team, very solid in all three phases. If you needed more evidence, playing without your starting quarterback last Saturday or last Friday night in Houston and knocking off the Cougars, that's an impressive win. So, I was very impressed with them. Like I said, all three phases. Defensively, I think they're in the top 10 in the country in multiple categories. Top 5 in several. So, one of the stronger defensive units in the country. Maybe one of the better, if not the best, defensive unit in our conference. So, we'll be challenged Saturday night. We do expect Pratt to play, just everything that we've kind of gathered. So, we're preparing for that. But I was very impressed with the young quarterback last Friday night. So I thought he handled everything very, very well, and obviously played real well in the second half and in overtime to get the win. So tough test for us. We've got to continue to improve and continue to build upon our performance last Saturday, and try to put together our best game of the year this Saturday afternoon in New Orleans. Questions?
CJ losing his grandmother, was there any point last week where you weren't sure if he was going to play, and then for the guys to rally around him and have the game he did, what did that mean?
Well, this is something we've kind of been supporting CJ for a couple of weeks now, in anticipation that this could happen. And when it did happen, we offered all the support that he needed. I think that he was as prepared as you can be for this. It's obviously very emotional for him because she was a huge part of his life. But one thing that he was very clear with us about was, he wanted to play Saturday, and he wanted to honor her. She was a big factor in him being here at East Carolina, and even through some of the maturing phases that he's went through in his early years, she was a big factor in him pushing through that, and always been great counsel to him. So I think it was important for him and his family that he did play, and what an incredible performance. Can't say enough positive things about it for him, and just so happy for him, but just what a great way to honor someone that was a huge part of his life, and just doing that for her on Saturday.
Another great goal line performance by the defense, Coach. What can you say about the grit they continue to show right in the goal line situation?
Well, I think the play in the first half, it's 14-0. South Florida drives the length of the field. They've got it inside the 5-yard line. Julius Wood makes a great strip of Bohannon, and Xavier Smith recovers in the pile right there. Huge turning point in the game because, they're getting ready to punch it in, be 14-7. What it turns out, we get the ball there on the 2-yard line or whatever, and we score 3 plays later to go up 21-0. So obviously that's a huge momentum swing there in the first half. And then, that there in the fourth quarter is as big as it gets. 8:06 remaining, it looks like Michael Dukes has scored to cut it to 13 points. They review it. He didn't quite get in, so they've got it on the 6-inch line. And for us to stand and turn them over on downs, that in combination with the offense's ability to get it off the goal line in that situation, that was the ball game. Because I'll be honest, I didn't feel comfortable that the game was put away yet. I don't think anybody did. And so, that stop, because we were preparing our hands team, because they would have obviously onside kicked with, or I felt like they would with 8 minutes to go. But to be able to, to turn it over right there, and then our offense respond with, a 6.5-minute drive to never give the ball back to them, that's pretty impressive too. But I think just that sequence there at the end of the game was the story.
So sort of going off on the defense, Julius Woods' forced fumble, it was just like a pursuit play, right? It kind of comes around the edge. Is that just sort of how this defense is just playing together, just kind of not stopping when the guy comes around the corner?
Well, it was a called pressure, so he was the edge blitzer off the backside, so he's bending hard the whole way. So he's responsible for trying to chase anything down, going away from him, anything coming at him, he should blow it up. So I think it's one, a good play call. Two, I think it just shows his athletic ability and his tenacity to run it down and not only get it on the ground, but, we work it a lot, but, it takes a lot to execute in that setting right there to punch the ball out as he's making the tackle.
Coach, the team obviously rallied around CJ last week. Now it's Rajay's injury, maybe one of the topics of discussion. How's he been since the injury, and what's his prognosis?
Well, he's obviously very disappointed, as we are. And, my heart sunk for him on the field Saturday because down deep I knew, we wanted to get the test results to confirm. But, and it's, I think just everybody's rallied around him. I think it's a good word for it. He and I have had a couple of talks. I've talked to his parents. We're going to support him. He's such a people person. I'm probably more worried about him mentally than I am physically. He will make a full recovery. He'll wear the purple and gold and be a great player for us again, just not tomorrow. My biggest concern right now is just making sure we get him healthy and support him mentally through this process. He's just such an incredible young man. There's so much more to him than just his play on the field, and for this team too. He means a lot to this team. This team means a lot to him. So, he'll still be a positive impact on our roster throughout the rest of the season. It'll just be in different ways.
We talked in the offseason, you guys were pretty fortunate last year avoiding injuries at running back, and it was kind of inevitable, maybe not to this extent, but, you guys prepare for this clearly. Just talk about the rest of the running back room and how guys will have to step up with Rajay going down.
Well, obviously, a lot of it's going to fall on Keaton, and rightfully so. But just like when both of them were healthy, I just think college football anymore, you've got to play multiple backs. So we felt really, really good going into the game last Saturday with Marlon Gunn. He had a great week of practice. I felt very comfortable with him carrying the load that he carried, and obviously he responded in a very positive manner. So you'll have more on his shoulders right now. Camaro Edmonds has continued to improve throughout the year, so obviously you'll have some weight on his shoulders, and I think he's prepared for that, excited for that. And then you'll have some other guys that'll have some opportunities. So it's why you have depth. It's why you build depth. And my stuff to the players all the time is you never know when you're going to get your opportunity. That we all remember the day that we got our first shot, and you just got to make sure you're prepared for that shot. And so there's going to be some guys that are going to get their opportunities here, over the balance of the season.
Marlon's shown some pretty obvious running ability, so I'm kind of curious what you think of his pass protection responsibilities now that'll be more important for you guys.
I thought he did a really good job on Saturday. Multiple times he was matched up on linebackers. He was matched up on a lineman one time. Stood in, did a good job. He'll have to continue to improve that piece. That's always the piece that young guys struggle with a little bit, but I thought he did a good job Saturday. So I think, the one thing with him, obviously he has a lot of God-given ability, and that's the reason we signed him. But for him to be as prepared as he is this early in his career, I think really is a testament to his work ethic and his drive and his character. The reason he has improved so much so quickly in the first 5 weeks of the season is because every day he pushes himself in practice. He pushes himself in everything he's doing, and it's really what you want to use to encourage other young players is if you will apply yourself daily and have that drive and that motivation, you will make great strides early in your career.
Coach, watching Tulane, last year they didn't have their linebacker Nick Anderson, and he seemed to be just watching them kind of maybe one of the guys that makes their defense go. How much does he stand out on film? Just where have you seen the biggest improvements defensively for them?
Well, I think he and Dorian Williams both stand out to me on film. I remember him from 2020 and just thinking, wow, he's a pretty special player. But obviously, those two linebackers, I think they're, like I said, very solid at all three levels defensively. But I think those two linebackers are probably the heart and soul of that defense. Nick obviously had a great game last week. They're both having a great year this year. That'll be part of our challenge on Saturday.
Coach, just to go back to the running backs, Keaton Mitchell practiced last week, warmed up, didn't play. Can you give us an update on him, and can you tell us, does it mean Rajay is done for the year, or is there's a chance?
No, Rajay is done for this year. Keaton, we were optimistic last week that he would be ready to go on Saturday, but just did not feel real comfortable after pregame warm-ups. And given how confident we were in Marlon, we thought it was best to go with Rajay and Marlon last week. We fully anticipate to have Keaton back full go this week.
Coach, with Owen, he missed an extra point now, a couple of missed extra points thus far. Are you still very, very confident in him? Or do you look at opening up that competition, or are you still all in with him as your number one kicker?
Well, the competition's open each week. I mean, with all of them. Some guys are a little more entrenched than others, but there's always competition. You look at a lot of factors: the snap, the hold, the kick. It's not always just the kick. So I think that there's some things we can do better execution-wise on that one missed extra point last Saturday. I think that he had a very solid week of practice last week. I'm continuing to, encourage him and coach him just like I do everybody else. I am excited that, Carson Smith is finally back healthy so he can start working towards, competing again, and I think that'll help Owen. But there's always competition. All right. Thanks a lot.